Hey y'all, in this video we're going to look at comparing and ordering real numbers. So we want to be able to compare and order rational and irrational numbers. Remember that an irrational number is basically a number that cannot be written as a fraction. So our essential question is, how can you compare and order rational and irrational numbers? Let's take a look at our steps. The steps to compare and order real numbers. Approximate each number using decimals. The more places you have, then the more accurate your answer will be. Place each approximation on a number line. Compare using the inequalities such as less than or greater than. Using the number line, place the numbers in the correct order. We usually order numbers from least to greatest. So let's take a look at just comparing two numbers. Compare the following two numbers by plotting their approximate location on a number line. Well, as part of our step one, we want to approximate each number. So we have the square root of 32. We saw how to approximate that in the lesson on square roots, lesson 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So I get that the square root of 32 by comparing perfect squares is approximately 5.7. And it's between 5.6 and 5.7 because 5.7 is a little too much, 5.6 is a little too little, but it's closer to 5.7. Now we want to compare that to 5.5, 1, 3, 2, 6, because this is ... as you can see on the slide, we want to approximate this by rounding it off, and we'll round it to 5.5. The 1 next to that second 5 tells me I can leave it the same. So now that we have that it's about 5.5, we have an approximation for these two values to put on our number line. So on our number line, we're going to look between 5 and 6 for both of these. And at about, these are going by tenths, so 5.1, 2, 3, 4, here's 5.5, 6, and just about 5.7, so here we have the square root of 32, and 5.5, 1, 3, 2, 6, that number that goes on. So we have approximated those and placed them on a number line. So now we could say our final answer is that 5.51326 is less than the square root of 32. Let's look at comparing a group of numbers. Again, our first step is to use rational approximations to estimate the value of each of these numbers. Okay? Pi squared. Well, pi is about 3.14. And so I'm going to get out my calculator now, and if I do, pi squared would be like pi times pi. So I can do a pi symbol right here. So pi and then squared, I get this number. So this number is about 9.8. And you can see from my calculator is actually more accurate. They have 9.85 because they rounded to 3.14. But if we just do the tenths place, this pi squared is about 9.9 if we round it off. 9 1/2 is 9.5. 9.8 can stay the same. 9.5 repeats would be like 9.55, where this one was 9.50. And the square root of 94, using our guess and check method, we can estimate that it's about 9.7. So now we can plot each number on our number line, and if you are very observant, you might have noticed the answer sitting there that whole time. Forgot to get that covered up. And so we can plot between 9 and 10, right? Again, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5. 9.55 is going to be halfway up to the next tenth. 9.6, 9.7 was about where that square root is. 9.8 we have, and just below 9.9. And now we can label it. This one was 9 1/2. Then we had 9.5 repeats. Then we have the square root of 94. We have 9.8. And we have pi squared. Now we just look at that top to fill in our blanks. So you see, now we can write those in order from least to greatest. Now it's your turn to try. Put these 5 numbers in order. Place them on the number line. Notice negative or positive. Pause the video, and then you can play the video when you're ready to see the answer. To summarize what we learned in this lesson, in order to compare rational and irrational numbers, you must first find the rational approximations of the irrational numbers. You can approximate irrational numbers by using perfect squares or sometimes by rounding. Your next steps are to complete your practice for this lesson and take your mastery check. This is the last lesson in the unit, so congratulations on making it to the end. And don't forget to complete the end of unit reflection on Schoology. Good luck with the rest of this lesson, and I'll see you in the next unit.